to the Food Network. Today we have a special segment about the new law aiming at stopping food waste and food insecurity across the nation.
Currently, over 40% of crops and produce are being wasted. These are perfectly good items being thrown away. This new law hopes to stop that.
Food insecurity is a national crisis that impacts thousands. Food banks and pantries require support to stay open, but sometimes their supplies are not enough to meet the demands of those in need. Food banks require donations to stay afloat, which will be supported through the new law. It will also be a great way to provide healthy food options to those in need.
I had the opportunity to interview several people suffering from food insecurity to discuss how it's currently being handled. Let's roll those clips.
Right now, we are making our way to a local shelter for the Rescuing Leftover Cuisine. I'm going to be talking with one of the workers there. Hello. I'm at Food Network, and we're doing a special on food insecurity. Could you mind telling me a little about food recovery and this program?
So basically, we go from restaurant to restaurant every day and collect the food leftovers, and then we drive in those food to the homeless shelter and then distribute them to the food insecure families.
So do you think this program is beneficial for families who suffer from food insecurity?
I want to say it is, but it's really difficult because we never have enough volunteers, and most restaurants are not willing to donate their leftovers.
All right, thank you for talking with us.
The reason people are going hungry is not because of a shortage of food, it's because of poverty.
As seen in our previous interview, the current solutions for the food insecurity crisis are not always as effective as they could be. The new federal law, known as the Food Storage and Donation Act, or FSAD, aims to reduce food waste while also providing food donations to help with food insecurity. There are two main parts of this law. The first part is aimed at lessening the amount of unmarketable food that is thrown away by food distribution companies. A lot of times, food that is not ideal or pretty enough to be sold to higher-tier markets is wasted when it is perfectly edible to consume. This new law requires that food distribution companies donate such products to food banks and food pantries in order to supply their banks and then be able to give back to those suffering from food insecurity. A lot of the current issues with food banks comes from the fact that they do not have enough supplies for all of those in need. So by requiring major food distribution companies to donate products to these food banks, it will supply them with a steady income of food products. The second part of this law aims at reducing food waste with products that are unable to be sold at the current time due to the demand of the market. This part of this law requires major food distribution companies to create freezer and refrigeration storage systems that crops and produce can be placed in until they are ready to be sold. A lot of the issue with food waste now comes from the fact that not all of the products that the food distribution companies have at the time can be sold due to the market. So by requiring these foods to be placed into storage for as long as possible until they can be sold, the aim is to reduce the amount of food waste. Of course, all food products do have a shelf life, and some of them will still have to be discarded after a certain amount of time. But the main objective of this part of the law is to reduce food waste as much as possible from the current percentage of 40%. With the new FSAD law most heavily impacting food distribution companies, we have the CEO of United Grain here to speak with us today.
Hi, thank you for having me here today.
Hi, do you find that the new law is most harmful or more helpful to your business?
Initially, it will cost businesses to implement the new law, but with government funding paying for the new storage systems, the benefits outweigh any other expenses.
And how do you see this new law impacting food waste at United Grain?
The storage systems will help reduce any food waste. Unfortunately, it's impossible to sell all of the food that came from the business, but by storing the food for longer periods of time, the products can be sold and when demanded and not wasted.
The additional aspects of the law regarding food donation has been a little bit controversial with businesses. Do you find it fair to your business to essentially be giving away food to food banks?
It does seem like businesses are having to give away food, but in reality, those are edible products that should not be that would be thrown out. But businesses need to realize that they're not losing anything by donating food that would otherwise be tossed out.
So it's safe to say that you are in support of the new law and that you do find it as an effective way to work with businesses to support food pantries.
Yes, I fully support the law and look forward to seeing its benefits play out.
Good to hear.
With the new law currently in place, we will have to wait and see how this impacts food insecurity and food waste throughout the nation. But for now, we remain hopeful.
However, despite the law, of course, food banks can always use donations, so please go to your local shelter and donate some food. And waste less food, please.
We hope you have taken a lot away from this special segment, and we look forward to keeping you updated on how the new law is affecting the nation. Thank you for watching.